Welcome to a new year and new episodes of On Location. Hello, I am Curt Claycomb, and on behalf of the staff and management of Beatty Televisual, we welcome you back to another fun-filled season. We are going to take a look at some past projects that have been going on for a couple of years, and we're also going to talk to new people in some old positions. But right now, we want to show you this. It is 50 years of photography, 50 years of blood, sweat, and tears for Dave Beatty. Now, what we're going to do is cover this man and his legacy in Central Illinois in upcoming episodes. And we'll talk more about these photographs when we get back. But right now we're going to take a break and talk to an old friend and a very friendly person. And welcome to On Location. As we start this new series out, we have a very special guest, an anchor, reporter, actor, mother of two, wife, entrepreneur, spokesperson. Julie, how do you do everything?
There's a lot of scheduling that has to go on every day, and you have to be flexible too. You have to learn to be flexible with your schedule, but knowing things ahead of time always helps.
Oh, well, of course. And what about the aspect of everything that you, where do you classify everything?
Of course, my kids come first, you know, the kids and the husband and the household, that always comes first. And, you know, we waited a long time to have kids. I was 40 when I had my first, so so it's something that it's really taken a priority, as it, you know, it always should. But we really felt blessed when we finally had our first. Now we have two, and they're both in school full time. So you feel like you're going to have a little more time back when they get into school, but somehow things creep in and the day goes by really quickly, and before you know it, it's time for them to come home.
They're asking you for the keys
exactly,
to the car and things
I know
like that.
I know, they're already talking about, getting a car.
Now, in the past 4 or 5 months, I had the pleasure of seeing you and Gus in The Addams Family. And it was just a tremendous production. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Vicki and I went to catch your show. So tell me a little bit about how you came about the part of Morticia.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for going and for supporting the Hoagland Center for the Arts. The people there do a tremendous job. We have so many volunteers and staff members that just their heart and soul is in it, no matter if they're behind the scenes or on stage. And a lot of people have, you know, do everything. You know, they might be in this show on stage, and then the next one they might stage manage or help with costumes or help, you know, promote something or sell tickets. So it really takes a huge amount of people giving a lot of time to put these shows on, put all of these productions on that they do over there, and they're all well worth seeing. But I'm glad you enjoyed the show. We did put a lot of hours into it, but it was so much fun. I think what made this show unique was that it was kind of a new show to people, because it had just started on Broadway 5 years ago. 2010 was its debut on Broadway, and so people haven't really had a chance to see this. It's not like Sound of Music or Oklahoma or something like that, right, that has, you know, been through generations. However, even though it was a new show that people hadn't seen, the Addams Family is something that every generation can identify with. Whether you were our age and you grew up with it on television in black and white, or the movies that came out, I think they were both in the 90s, and there's been a cartoon series, and I think there was even another sitcom on one of the kids stations that came on. So there have been many generations of people who have, you know, loved the Addams Family. So it was something
grew up with it,
right, exactly, and of course very iconic, especially for us, our whole lives. And so it was something that you could appeal to everyone around. So it had some great those great elements to it, and then on top of it, it was just a really funny show. It was just very funny. The songs were very catchy. The characters, had some depth to them, and you got to learn a little bit more about them. I mean, for instance, Gomez and Morticia, we all know them as having the ultimate love affair. Nobody has a better marriage, a better relationship than Gomez and Morticia. But in this show, as you saw, they have some trouble. And, to think, oh my goodness, what could possibly get in the middle, in between Gomez and Morticia? Well, if you go see the show, you know what all happened and how they dealt with it. So as an actor, it was interesting to bring this role to life and bring an element to Morticia that people hadn't seen before. They hadn't really seen her upset with Gomez, thinking about leaving her marriage, packing up her things and leaving the house. That's something you wouldn't ever think of seeing Morticia do. And so I had to kind of, consider how she would react to that. So it was something where we had to be true to the characters, but then add our own touches to them as well. So it was just a lot of fun all the way around.
What would be a dream role for you?
Oh, I think that was one of them. Quite frankly, that was something that as I just mentioned, you and I grew up with Addams Family and the Munsters, that kind of era, and I loved those shows because Morticia, Lily Munster were women who were just very confident about themselves, being their own person. They didn't have to be like everybody else, and they just did their own thing, and they were happy, wonderful people. And so I always had admired that kind of a character. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw that the Addams Family was on Broadway, I thought, oh, that would be a fun show to be in.
So who brought up the idea? Was it you or Gus?
Gus and I had we were talking about shows, and that when the production rights had just come available to it. And yes, I had mentioned to Gus, I said that would be a fun show to do. I would love to do that show. And I think he checked into if the rights were available in the area. And I know there were other places that had done this show in the region, and I think yeah, it just all happened. And I think he got and let me know that we were going to be doing that, and I think it kind of went that direction. So,
it's a fantastic idea. Now, you've been in other plays without Gus.
Yes. Yeah, he was wonderful to work with. Gus Gordon is just a true professional all the way around, and made it just a wonderful experience. And he sometimes produces shows, direct shows at the Hoagland Center. So a lot of times, if I'm involved with a show at the Hoagland Center, he might be the producer. I haven't done a show he's directed yet. He and I are doing a show in February. It opens at the Hoagland Center. It's a play called Rumors by Neil Simon. So many people might be familiar with that. It's a comedy, a farce, and it's extremely funny. It's about these 4 couples that have a dinner party, and all kinds of chaos ensues when someone shoots something, and I don't want to give it all away, but it's very funny when they make it out to be very funny when shooting starts happening at dinner parties.
So what was it that sparked the actor in you to start becoming involved?
It's something that I've always really done. Performing is something I've done since I was a child. I've studied vocal music since I was 8 or 9 years old. So it's something that I've always had there. My minor in college was musical theater. So it was something I really wanted to do. I really wanted to be on Broadway and go that direction. but I was very close to my family and didn't really want to like move to New York or Los Angeles just yet and try things out on my own. There's a lot of bravery in that for the people that go that route, and some of them find success immediately, and that's a wonderful story for them. But I decided, another long story, I just decided to go the broadcasting route, and had my major was in radio and television. Right. So went the broadcasting route and did that. And because of that, as you well know, I mean, television is a very demanding career. There wasn't time to be able to, hone my skills as an actress. I would sing at church. I would. That's probably, where a lot of people are able to, have their outlet for performing and singing. So, so I was able to do that, but it kind of all had to take a back seat. And it wasn't until after I had had my children and kind of retired from news that I had started to consider that there was a possibility there. My husband was the one that brought it up, because I thought, going into acting, doing shows would be really demanding again. And I didn't want to ask that of him, but he brought it up and knew how much I loved it, what a passion I had for it, and so he was the one that said you should go audition. So
well, we're glad you certainly did.
Well, thank you. I'm glad he said it.
So Mark Staley, you've been married for a while now.
Let's see, 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Goodness gracious. 12, 13, 14, 15, 13 years. Goodness gracious.
So how did you get connected then with the Staley Museum and being a spokesperson?
That is something that we are working on now. We will be opening our doors in April 9th. We open our doors for the Staley Museum in Decatur. It is housed inside the Staley Mansion, which is what most people know this house as. This is where A.E. Staley lived when he worked at the company. And he bought it. It had already been built, and he bought the home for his family and did a little bit of renovation, changed, added a sun porch to it and things like that, but pretty much kept it the same. It was built in 1881, so it's a pretty old home. It's on the historic registry over in Decatur, in the historic district, and it has had an award from the historic registry. And so a couple had renovated it and kind of brought it back to its original splendor, and decided that they wanted to sell it. And so we thought it would be a great opportunity to be able to at least have a repository for family archives and things.
Yeah, that's a good question. What will we actually see if we would go to the Staley Museum?
You will see all kinds of things about A.E. Staley and his personal life and the family. But you'll also see a lot of things about what made him who he is, which is the company and the industry, the agribusiness industry. So there's a little bit of everything there. We've had immense support from Tate & Lyle, which bought the A.E. Staley Manufacturing Company. So they have generously, so kindly allowed us to borrow items and have them ready for the museum opening. And indefinitely, have some of them there. And we really are grateful that they've, been partnering with us and helping us out with many of the items they have there. I mean, some of them are, pieces of furniture and Oriental rugs that were imported that A.E. Staley picked out, and photographs and things like that we never would have had. But we do have a lot of family items, personal items from A.E. Staley, from his wife, and all of the children, his son A.E. Staley Jr., who also was running the company. And so,
are there any artifacts from the days when they owned the Bears?
There are. As a matter of fact, we have a little, what we refer to right now as the Bears Room. There's a den in the house, and the story has it, we can't confirm or not confirm it, but the lore is that this room in his house was where he made the decision to move the Decatur Staleys to Chicago. and then they became the Chicago Staleys. So he had made that decision knowing that this football team was getting bigger than he thought, which was great, but he had to really focus on his business of the agribusiness rather than soybeans and corn, and rather than football. And that wasn't something that he couldn't do both. And that's a great vision for someone to have, to not spread yourself too thin. Right. Even though these days everybody wants to multitask and be everywhere. That's
about the only way you can get things done these
exactly.
days.
You're exactly right. So
now we've talked about a lot of things. You've been involved in a lot of charities. And can you tell us a little bit about your favorite charities and what you have going on?
I mean, they all serve an immense purpose in our community. Some of them are saving lives. Some of them are enhancing life. Children, families, animals. It's really I think just a privilege to be able to help out and to find a way to lend a hand. Obviously, we've talked about Hoagland Center for the Arts.
You're on the board there.
Right, I'm on the board there, and they provide a home for many other arts organizations. So, like the Springfield Ballet Company, things like that, and. These organizations would not really have a place to go otherwise, or they would be very spread out in the community, or were before the Hoagland came along. Mm-hmm. And this way they have places to have an office and rehearse and have a performance, whatever kind of event they want to be able to have there. And then on top of it, we rent out space, for weddings, for galas, for, if you just want to have a meeting space. So it's really a community center and something that everybody can really benefit from. Every time I go there, every single time I go there, I see people coming in and out of the doors that are part of these organizations. You see, girls coming in with, their bag of ballet shoes. They're coming in, and then you see a child coming out with their violin, and then you see, someone coming out with, a sculpture and there's just, all kinds of things. And the arts is something that really touches someone in their soul. And when you can reach someone on that level, that's priceless.
In all sorts of levels, because there's an art gallery in there.
Right.
There's the Springfield Ballet.
Right.
And so depending on who it is, you've hit so many levels that it's got to be an accomplishment.
Right. I think there are 19 organizations there that call that home. So, you can imagine the many different, you have the Muni, Springfield Theater Center. I'm not going to try to name them all because I won't. I won't.
That's a lot to remember.
But there, are so many organizations that can really call it home. And I remember when it was, you probably remember when we were doing stories about it, when they were building it and all of that.
I spent my early years there as a demolay.
Oh, right,
as a mason.
Right.
So that building has been in use for many years.
For many generations of people. Yeah. It's a building that's really has already touched the hearts of people because they have many memories there. So Hoagland's just a wonderful organization, and I'm really honored to be able to be part of it. But like I said earlier, it does take a lot of hands, a lot of hours. But that's the way charitable organizations are. Another one we are involved with a lot is the American Heart Association. There's a history of heart disease in the family, so we really have an interest in that and what they do. So much of what they do is research oriented and finding new technologies and things that help, doctors and hospitals and staff, and people don't even know the extent of what the American Heart Association does. And so we just try to, bring awareness to what they do, and help them raise money for their research and supporting the programs that they do.
The nice thing about this particular area is that Springfield and the surrounding communities in Sangamon County are a very giving community, and you could just launch anything just about and put it on the network, and you've got people coming to help out or to donate money or one of the hundreds of things that you would need. Exactly.
I have not seen a situation where someone has asked and they haven't received something. We do have a really generous community. We work both here in Springfield and in Decatur, and the needs in each city are very different, actually. Yet the response from the community is always firsthand. There's always someone there that you can count on. And so it's just a matter of finding those people at the right time when something is needed. So,
just going to switch a moment to talk a moment about Gus again. I don't want to get stuck on Gus.
Gus is a great subject.
Right. But I saw him recently. I saw you guys in a commercial where you played Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall.
Yes, we did the Casablanca commercial for Stahl's Furniture, and that was so much fun to shoot. It was, as you saw, it started out like Casablanca in black and white, and then it switched to color, and we were in the showroom of the store, and that was great. It took a while to get all the shots right, but that's what you have to do to put something like that together. So we had a lot of fun.
He's such a talented guy.
Amazing.
What's coming up at the Hoagland Center?
Well, a good thing you asked, because I have a list here. There are all kinds of shows coming up for. We've had a lot of things. December for Christmas. Dueling Pianos is this weekend, and they've even added a show, so that is coming up. But the next, in January, we have Hay Fever. That's a Noel Coward play, and that is being directed by James Daniels. That'll open on January 8th, and it'll run for 2 weekends. Then we have The Four Freshmen, which is opening on January 31st. And then the next show will be Rumors. That's directed by Don Russell. We open on the 19th of February. And then we have Peter Pan coming up, directed by Matthew Valla, who did Addams Family. Okay. And this is the Hoagland Kids doing this show. And so you're going to see all of the efforts that they put. It's just amazing to watch these kids in action. This is part of our education program at the Hoagland Center. And these kids work all year long on different shows and different productions, and honing their skills as actors and singers. And Matthew does an amazing job with these kids. So they're doing Peter Pan, and they're going to have lots of flying and special effects.
I was going to say, isn't there some flying?
Yes, involved? Yes. So you will see some wonderful things from those kids. They're amazing.
A lot of happy thoughts.
Yes, exactly. So that'll be March 4th, and runs through March 13th. So tickets are on sale now for all of these. Late Night Catechism is going to be on March 18th, and that'll be in the LRS Theater. These are all different in different theaters.
What about individuals that want to participate? How
if you'd like to be in a show?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
How can you go about doing that?
You go to an audition, and they usually have on their website, hcfta.org, or go to their Facebook page. But the website, they usually have audition information on there. Okay. For kids, if you have a child, a teen for ages 6 to 18, if you have someone ages 6 to 18 that's interested in doing this, they should just get involved with the education program. It's a wonderful opportunity for kids to really, like I said, hone their skills and develop the talent that they have.
And they could just call the front desk.
Yeah, just call the office and they can let you know when they start the enrollment for that. It's something that goes throughout the year. I mean, they started at one point in the year, and then it goes for their year, and like a school year, right? So it's something that it's a long-term thing, a long-term commitment, and it teaches kids to you commit to a project and you follow through with it, and it's just wonderful to see those kids in action.
To get constant satisfaction from the work that you do must be thoroughly enjoying.
Yes, you always have those days where things don't always go the way you planned it, but when you have a real passion to do something and you're able to get up there and play out that role, there's a great fulfillment in that, and we are extremely lucky in this community to be able to have so many opportunities, through the Hoagland Center, through Springfield Theater Center, which is at Hoagland. You have the Muni that comes every summer. You have the Theater in the Park out in New Salem, right. The Legacy. So there are many opportunities, and that's not to mention the universities and colleges. We have UIS, Lincoln Land, over at Milliken. They have an amazing program over there in Decatur. There are so many ways to get involved in theater and performing here that there really is no excuse not to get involved. So,
well, I had a chance to meet you years back when we worked at Channel 20.
We're not going to say how many, just a few.
But I certainly have enjoyed having you visit today and having you come by and fill us in on different things that are happening in your life. And it's so exciting, and I really do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. It's been great to catch up and see you again.
It's good to see you too. And well, we hope to have you back.
Wonderful.
Some point in time.
Wonderful.
We'll get another half hour out of this somehow.
Okay.
And until that time, we'll be watching you on stage and in commercials.
Great.
And just enjoying your performances.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Curt.
Thank you.
It's always nice to catch up with friends over the years. Now about these boxes. 50 years of photography from Dave Beatty. And what he would like to know is if he had taken your wedding, or maybe your parents' wedding, or perhaps your grandparents' wedding, then contact him. He wants to hear from you. 217-787-4747. That number again, 217-787-4747. And if you've had any photographs taken by Dave Beatty in the last 50 years, give him a call because he wants to hear from you. And also, I want to hear from you. If you want to call or write in, you could call us again at 217-787-4747 or write us at Beatty Televisual, 1287 Wabash Avenue, Springfield, Illinois, 62704. And again, thank you. If it's Sunday, guess what? It's On Location.